All right, we are live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Happy Friday. Really excited to dive into the markets today. There is a lot of action that's happening, lots of stuff happened overnight. And also, of course, it's the end of the week. And then we will also be heading towards end of the month tomorrow. So it's going to be very exciting weekend. We'll have to see how the monthly candle closes, how the weekly candle closes, how the daily candle closes today. So really excited to dive into all of that, and we'll go ahead and get right into it. But before we do that, I just want to make it um, clear that anything that we do discuss here today, it's not financial advice. It's going to be purely for educational purposes and for fun. We are just drawing the lines, making some chart analysis. That's it. I see NetNet has already joined. Hey, NetNet, thank you for tuning in. And please, if you could go ahead, everybody, if you can like and retweet and comment, it'd be great. I'll go ahead and hand the mic off to Kelvin. He has his charts up already, so we're going to bring it up. Kelvin, how are you doing today? Take it away.
I am doing well. Let's see. Here we are. Oh, did I get reset somehow? Let's see. Okay. Sorry. It was sharing the screen that I wasn't looking at. Okay. So yeah, hi everybody. So cool to be here with Lady Trader and Bits so far. FOMO Friday. I love to zoom out and kind of look at where we are. I think the most amount of money you can make is during the real long-term pivotal moves in crypto. And I've been watching this move ever since we lost the 100. I'm looking for a bounce of some kind. If I zoom a little bit further so you can kind of see, obviously this big candle with this giant wick was pretty strong support. And then we got a couple others, and we're seeing quite a few candles now, weekly candles with longer support wicks than resistance wicks, but we still haven't turned the corner. So a lot of this is kind of building up for a reversal in my mind. I feel like we could have a pretty decent return. One of the levels that I would expect us to hit is probably around 78. So that's kind of been my thought, that we would eventually bounce up to about 78. And I don't change my trading thesis very often, and it's usually because I'm looking at such long-term charts. But we looked at this line a while ago, and I'm definitely expecting our playground to be inside this range. I did not really expect us to drop below 60 for quite a while, and I did not expect us to go above this line. So I kind of feel like we're going to be in this range for quite a bit. It's been a little tighter than I thought. I thought we'd be actually up a little sooner, but that's okay. This can take all the time it wants. The only thing that is kind of a question on this particular setup is we missed our 200 week, and I think the market would absolutely love to tap this 200. And I think that's why there's been a little bit more bearish continuation, because I think this is psychologically in the minds of institutional and longer term traders. They're kind of looking at this as the potential pivot point. And so this is not off the radar yet, because not only is the 200 week here, the 50 month is also here. They're both right here, and we kind of missed it by, we missed it by like $4,000. On a $6,500 asset. I mean, it's pretty close, but it's just a little.
That's because we're only going to the 48 month, Calvin. We're not
the 48 month. Yes,
yeah, 48, 47, something like that. Right where we're at.
Yeah. The number of the president, I think, something like that. Anyway, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. I really have expected a bounce. I'm going to go to daily. The interesting thing that's happening on the daily, so that 78 is actually right where the 50-day is. And I think that we would come up and have one more rejection off of the 50. and then sweep the lows. Like that's kind of what I'm expecting. It's like a bounce up to the 50, then we sweep the lows, and then who knows? We'll have to kind of see how the rest of this thing plays out. Historically, the 200 week has been a decent place for support. If our cycle highs aren't as dramatic and our cycle lows aren't as dramatic, having a wick below the 200 week may get us close, but timing wise, we're too early. There is nothing in this structure that says that we are resolved. Historically, we get deep into this yellow zone every cycle. It's usually pretty long. I'll just kind of give you some ideas. When we leave the yellow zone, we don't usually get out for like 43 days, like 350 days. Like this is like year to year and 3 months type of thing, 400 days again. So if we were to play out a normal, cycle time wise, we'd be looking anywhere from like January of next year to like maybe end of this year. But this has got to play out. We have to kind of fall through. The structure has to reset. We have to get our 50 week has to cross the 100 week, and we got to play down, well into the 200 area. For a while. So time wise, we're just not even close. So anyway, it could get pretty ugly, but in the shorter term, last little thing that I'll look at is on the 4 hour. I've been kind of waiting to see a move above the 4 hour. I kind of went in with a little bit of size right at this break of the 4 hour. We ended up with a little bit of a higher high than our last swing high. And if this turns out to be a higher low, this might be the turnaround that I'm looking for. So I'm kind of watching this on the 4 hour to kind of get my signal. I have this bot that's really handy. When I went in with size, it automatically takes a little bit of my profits for me every hour, just a sliver. And so if I get in too big, it sort of reduces my size if it takes too long to actually materialize. It kind of helps me manage my own emotions. And so I was kind of happy that I was a little bit lighter by the time we had this turnaround. But I still think this will be a lower high than this. And we will probably make our move in the next couple of weeks. So this is a pretty red chart. And things don't go one way forever, especially after we've had a really strong selling climax, and now we're consolidating sideways. The next move is something to the upside. Even if it's not dramatic, it's got to give us something, and it's going to be more than 72,000, in my opinion. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. That's probably my portion of the show here.
Incredible takes as always, Kelvin. We had a bunch of comments actually for you. Of course, Net, loving that light background crew. Let's go. Ryan also loves the light chart guy. We love that. I mean, we all love it. I see Crypto Crank is here. Thank you for joining. Carl is here. Happy Friday. Yeah, I mean, we love this. It's so funny too. Like we need to appreciate the light charts, right? Because Bits and I always, we have those dark charts as we talk about the market. So no, this is exciting. Thank you so much, Kelvin.
Are
We're
you
gonna
saying,
bring
do we need a
Mhm.
hashtag? It's like light charts matter or something like that.
Light charts matter. Yes, we definitely need a hashtag for that. That's fun.
Yeah, we were having quite an argument in our little side chat of dark versus light, and yeah, I think it's becoming a Star Wars degeneration. The darks versus the lights. So Nat's on my team. We're trying to be the Jedi here. So
Yeah. See, there's one thing that I have not done yet. I have known Nat for so long, but I have not yet seen her live on a stream. I don't think I've ever seen her live on the stream. We need to do that one of these days because I'm curious about her charts and also how she does her analysis and all of those things. Black Widow has light charts as well. Absolutely love what she does. Carl is saying light charts burn the eyes. They do. Yes, they do. Absolutely. I appreciate them, whenever I see Black Widow posting something or when Calvin is posting something, because it just kind of gives you another perspective, which is awesome.
My
Yeah,
colors don't
thank you.
show up very well in dark charts. That's why I'm light.
Yeah, it's just
And
easy.
like, well, the light charts also sear the image into your retinas, like way more. So like, you're able to like see the chart over and over again when you close your eyes, and you're like, oh wait, I remember now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it helps a lot. Internalize,
Yes, absolutely. All right, we have Bits of Wealth. Bits, take it away. What trades are you in? What are you looking at on the charts right now?
I'm in all the trades. I'm in all of them, pretty much.
All of them?
I got all the longs.
Oh,
And no, look, you guys know I mainly trade BTC and majors, but when things are moving quickly, I kind of really just focus on BTC. Sometimes I'll do BTC and Sol or BTC and ETH, but really I will focus in on BTC. So look, let me zoom out a little bit first, and then I'll kind of zoom back in. So this is the, this is a larger Bitcoin range. Had this move down here to the lows, came up here and set a higher high relative, to this structure here. So I'm kind of just, I'm waiting to see if we're going to get a higher low, essentially is what I'm looking for. I'm waiting to see if we're going to get a higher low. Main areas I was watching and am still watching is on a 4-hour chart. You had this. Oh man, I'm lagging a little bit. Hold on here. What's going on? You had this like fair value area here, still kind of within that. I mean, I'd still say that it's within the margin of error that you could still reclaim this and get a bounce somewhere here. You also had the previous week low right here in this area. But below that, we do have another little inefficiency. We got another vector candle on a 4-hour. It's a little cleaner on the lower time frames, but we could be seeing a move down here. And that would actually be a move below fair value. Like Bad Price talks about this all the time, right? But here's your value area high, value area low for this range, right? So currently we're kind of bouncing right at the value area low. Like it's trying to kind of catch a bounce right at value area low. If if it were to dip down here into this zone, it would just be that much juicier of a level to be looking for a potential long opportunity there. So that's what I'm looking for there. On a 1-hour, I am watching for a little potential. It's this like turtle soup thing that, and I don't know. I might even be using this incorrectly in the sense that I don't know if it applies on such low time frames, but same concept, right? Like you had this candle here. I don't like that it didn't have a wick to the downside though. Normally these things have a wick to the downside, so I don't know if that's invalidating anything. But I'm kind of watching here to see if we get a reversal, and if this thing starts swinging back above this middle candle, I might be looking for to see if it confirms. And at the same time, like really what I would want to see is a move back above here, right? That's your structure. This is where you have EMAs kind of crossing down. If we were to get a nice little candle that kind of moves back up there, then I start looking for a move up here to about the 50% of the week, but back up towards these highs potentially, and then maybe even the previous week high could be an interesting move. So I am watching that right now at this moment. This is on a 15-minute. This is kind of what that would look like. Trying to see if we can't catch a bounce here. Ideally, you want to kind of see this next candle be a nice big signal candle to the upside. And if we got something like that, closed above, above EMAs, closed above this little high here, and ideally came up here near some of this structure. Yeah, I mean, you might be seeing something like that, maybe that does this, and then you finally get a nice little pop above all of that. So that's kind of what I'm watching at this moment. Looking to see if I can get positioned here, other than just scalping these little moves here, seeing if I can catch maybe a swing. I'd really like a move up there. If I can get something that maybe looks similar to that, I think that'd be a pretty nice trade. Even if I caught it slightly higher, like on a confirmation, I still think that's a pretty healthy looking trade going into the weekend. Certainly would be happy to take that. ETH, similar thing, right? ETH had this this channel that I was watching here. It's failed the channel, which is usually where my favorite setups come from, like what's called a channel failure is what my mentor would call it. and it's a pattern that looks like it's losing the channel, and then it just reclaims it and goes all the way to the other side of the channel anyways. So it's kind of what I'm watching for, is a channel failure here. You had to move down below. You came down, touch previous week low. Same thing. You're kind of moving into value area low. There's just, it's a lot of the same confluence with BTC, because you can put a similar channel on BTC as well here. If you were to say like there's potentially something like that here, right? So it's kind of what I'd be looking for, is just a move back up towards this upper extreme if we get it. So we'll see if we get that confirmation today while we're FOMO Fridaying. And then Dino coins, I mean, some of these are just pulling back off of that move high. LTC was one of the better looking ones, in my opinion. Had a really, really nice pop to the upside, got above this VWAP that I was watching, got above all the EMAs, didn't just swing above structure. It actually had a nice close above structure on 4 hour. So this one, same thing. I'm kind of just watching to see if it comes down in here somewhere, looking for a potential higher low and get some continuation. Maybe something that could look something like that. Essentially is kind of what I'm looking for. If it's coming in here, somewhere in here, finds some lows, is able to start working its way back up top of the channel. Essentially what I'm looking for LTC. Solana's not looking as great. Solana, that was a pretty clean sweep of the upside. It went to target like we were looking for, but I don't like that it didn't close above that. It was just a swing failure, and it's now coming down. So this one still could potentially have a move back towards the lows. Cardano's, it's in a similar boat. I still think this low looks pretty good. I still think that looks pretty good, but we could be coming to sweep these maybe if it can't find a bounce in here somewhere. But it is right at that. I want to say this is a 2024 low. It's I know that's October low. Yeah. So October 2025 low. So that's the previous year low off of that October candle to the downside. Still just kind of observing this one. I have been accumulating on moves down, so I'm willing to hold this one. XPL is another one that I'm kind of watching. I found it last night on stream. I'll share this one with you guys. So on a high time frame, it looks like crap, which is why I'm paying attention. It looks horrible. And no, look, this is one of those where on the higher time frames, like on a monthly, I'm watching for this this reversal idea, right? That I've kind of been studying. So there's a day and 6 hours left. We're at the bottom of this massive range. So it's essentially this candle here from back in September of 2025. This essentially gave you your larger range. And I'm gonna put this yellow. This gave you kind of this range. Everything's just been an inside bar since then. This last month swept it slightly. This month we're still below it. If we were to close back above that, and we are running low on time, we've got a like about, what is that, 30 hours. We need to close above the low of that candle, and then I think there's a potential for a nice little mean reversion. It'd probably just go to the top of the previous month candle, but if you got a 50% move up here, I think that'd be pretty nice. So essentially that's kind of what I'm eyeing. I think there's two potential ideas here for long positions on this. If we were to get them, is we might be seeing something like this if it plays out. So again, not really looking on any of these plays. I'm not really looking for none of this stuff is like calling for new all-time highs. This stuff is really just calling for lower high mean reversion type plays and just to continue going down. But I do think that there is a potential here that these things get a little bit of a bounce. They don't need much, and it could look pretty good. So, but my criteria is we need to see a close above that previous month. So I'm watching those to see how we close the month. We're down to the last little bit that remains. So if we can get even if we don't close inside of this one, but if we close inside this previous month, I think it could be interesting. Get at least that little pump back up here somewhere near the upper side of that. And that's it's got plenty, it's got plenty on it. It's got to the top of it is 130%. If it went 50% up, you got a 50% move, So nice little play potentially there. So we'll see if it shapes up. But that's pretty much what I'm watching.
Love it, Bits. Absolutely love it. We'll see how the markets really play out this weekend. I'm excited for that just because it's going to be the weekly close, the monthly close, everything, plus all of the solar and not solar, but lunar eclipse coming up.
I think we had both, right? We just recently had like a solar and we're having a lunar or something. And then Mercury went into retrograde like 2 days ago or something like that also. And then I think tonight there's some kind of event where like all the planets are lining up or something. There's a lot of...
Yeah, we had the Jane Street eclipse too, guys. The Jane Street eclipse was pretty gnarly too.
Jane Street eclipse.
So is that bullish or bearish?
I don't know. Everyone says all this stuff is bearish, so maybe.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess. I mean, I have a couple of things that I could share around it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I also found turtle soup. I actually remember this from a long time ago. And it was basically, I didn't really know about it until, I was basically just into market maker method, Steve Morrow. And when I was learning about that method, then of course you have really passionate people from ICT who basically just say, hey, you gotta take a look at what basically ICT has, because it's basically similar concepts, and there's definitely some discourse between the two groups. But turtle soup was basically just
hey, lady trader.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. ICT ripped off turtle soup from Street Smarts. It drives me crazy. The ICT people. Most of the stuff ICT teaches, he's ripped off from older traders and books and stuff like that, and then tries to repackage it as his own. So I've been dealing with that for like years. It's been driving me crazy because Bits, remember, like, what was it? Like a few days ago in Spaces, I talked about that female trader.
Who? Linda?
Remember,
Linda Rashke?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, she's one of the authors of Street Smarts. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, I mean, that setup is right? In that book. Yeah. So just had to mention it. Just had to mention it because it drives it. That ICT turtle soup thing drives me a little crazy. It's a pet peeve. So just had to mention something.
Thanks. No, absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing. I mean, always open to hearing, where you actually found it. And I think it's just like everybody just claims that, hey, they've, this is what they've invented. And then there's always somebody who originally invented it. So we definitely need to be looking into that. But
yeah, he didn't even change the name. Like, he's got other setups with that.
Yeah.
Like, he at least changed the name of and claimed it as his. That one, he didn't even change the name of the setup. He's like, nah, this is mine. It's like, dude, that was written in books back in like, late 80s, early 90s or something. Like, anyway.
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you for sharing. No worries at all. So I want to share this tweet by Ben, and it just showed up on my timeline actually. So this was very interesting. But it basically says, what are the odds that 8 of the greatest market crashes in history would all occur within 6 days before to 3 days after a full moon that fell within 6 weeks of a solar eclipse? And so this is basically what we are seeing here. So we already had the solar eclipse, and we're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse that's coming up here on, I believe it's March 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be watching it. Again, this is one of those areas where I don't have a lot of expertise. I have a little bit of an observation back in 2022, and then it just fell off the radar after that. Now I'm coming back to it because this is a barrier, so I'll be watching it again. 2022 was the barrier as well. But basically, during a lunar eclipse, we had FTX crash, and we also had Luna crash. So I'm watching to see how it actually works out this time. Did we get a crash, like around this time, or close to this window? So this is a very interesting one. Of course, he's talking about S&P 500, but crypto markets are going to be reacting pretty similarly as well. So definitely something to keep an eye on. This is important. We were talking about turtle soup, so I'll quickly go over it. But basically, this is what Bits and I have been kind of doing this for a long time, where it's like you have this sort of a pattern, and then it basically price takes out the liquidity, and then it closes above. I think the only difference is a lot of time either we are entering here on a close or a confirmation. This one basically is waiting until this one breaks, which is really, of course, a safer alternative, right? But oftentimes, especially those who are trading market maker method, we are in after the price closes above that 13 EMA. But this one here, and with, of course, loss being here. So it's a nice little risk to reward ratio for you. And your 1-to-1 is going to hit super fast on this setup. And then, of course, another setup would be right here, right? This is what the official entry would be. And then you also have Bits of Wealth's entry, if you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Because he likes to enter, he likes for the price to move above this. Look, I know Bits so well. I know how he trades.
You're already teaching my method.
But I mean, you were talking about my method on.
I know.
It's like we're talking about each other's method. But hey, this is the strategy, right? Because this is where I like to enter is like early at 13 close. And I know Bits also enters sometimes there, but then this is another trade. Yeah, foot soldier right here, and then second entry would be for Bits. It would be here.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Where price moves away, comes back, retests this neck here, and you enter, and then you're good to go. So I like this. It's fun. Bits, I don't know if you actually know about this. I don't know anything about this company, by the way, because they were actually promoting an ICT turtle soup indicator. So it was, and they also have like a free, I think, free trading view indicator in it. So very interesting for sure. So I have not heard anything about them. So we're not sponsored by them. We don't know anything about them. Do your own research, but I just pulled this up because I wanted to kind of explain this turtle soup setup. And of course, when you inverse it, again, it is, you're going to be looking for those M-type patterns, which a lot of people are catching. And so that's what it is. So yeah, hopefully that helps explain what we are looking at. And maybe we will be catching a turtle soup.
Hey, it's that this BTC setup's playing out so far. We'll see if we get the confirmation, but it so far is holding above the levels that I wanted to see. So I just need a nice little pump up right now, close above EMAs on M15, which is also now that last swing high on the 15 after this little pullback. So yeah, maybe we get it.
Absolutely. I see Carl is commenting here. Dark mode. Yep, we are back with dark mode.
I got dark mode X, dark mode StreamYard, dark mode charts, dark mode computer, dark mode, everything's dark. All dark.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I think except for my AI window, which even ASI1 I use is dark mode. But yeah, so this was a setup. So first of all, big congratulations to everybody who got into the short position right here. Shane got in. I know that he was just waiting for the M pattern, and this guy he's a legend. Absolutely love his trading journey. So he definitely shorted this one, and this was a very similar to that turtle soup setup as well. Like this pretty much is just like that inverse, right? You have a liquidity grab here. Of course, if it was third, it would be even better. But market maker method, when they taught us, it was pretty much this way, where you have a stop hunt to the high, closing under, and that's when you enter. So your entry would probably be right here when it closes under the 13 EMA, and then of course your first take profit would be here. This is where, like I said, your 1-to-1 would hit very fast because you have your stop loss here, your 1-to-1 hits here, and then it's up to you if you want to leave a moon bag or not. So that's what it is. Now, remember, there are a few different things that are happening. Of course, we had this classic W pattern, which markets give you this so much, especially on Fridays, I've noticed, but it gives you this, nice little W pattern during either Asia or Europe session, and then price comes back crashing down. Your breakout trade would be here, which would give you like a 1-to-1 setup. Your stop loss would probably be here. So a very quick 1-to-1, and then of course you could leave a moon bag if you wanted. And the same thing, remember, I've been kind of talking about these two levels. So we have this one here, and then we have this one here. So these are both potential trade setups for those, breakout method. But definitely watch, because this is going to be taken sooner rather than later. This was actually pretty perfect also for like the turtle soup type setup that we just went over, right? We had a beautiful entry if you wanted to take a long position here. I did not take this one. But yeah, we'll see how price actually acts here, and if we can get a close above, maybe we will have actually a live trade today. So we'll come back to that. I want to go back to the monthly chart very quickly here, and just remind everyone that we already had 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is actually the 5th monthly candle that is in the works. And it's been a while since we've actually had 5 red candles in a row. It hasn't happened. Let's see, like we could go back as far as like here, November 18th, right? So we had a bunch of red candles here, but it hasn't happened since then. So this is something which is like one thing where I'm not very comfortable shorting, even though I'm seeing some very clear setup, and a lot of people are actually trading it as well, which is amazing. But it's just that there are too many red candles. I want to see a little bit of a green. Like give me at least one green candle, and then I'll be very comfortable shorting and taking a nice short position and get a much bigger short position. So this is where we are at. And if monthly closes right here, I mean, there's really not much of a VIC here. And usually whenever I've seen patterns like this, they would crash. Like the next month is also going to be red, like a higher probability of that. So many red candles in a row. I mean, this is pretty ugly looking to me. So we'll see if we get a February green and maybe even March green. Who knows? We had February and March green last bull market, or last bear market. I'm sorry. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? It's just a probability here. So we'll see how it plays out. But I'm definitely watching to see how price is going to act here, and then ultimately, however low we are going to go for the bottom, basically. So we'll see where it ends up, but I'm definitely watching it very, very carefully here. So that's what I have for BTC. Nothing else really for today, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to William. Are you ready?
Yeah, sorry, I could not find the mute button for some reason. That was so funny. Here we go. Let me share my screen really fast here, guys. Yeah, I'm not going to go over BTC this time around just because you guys covered BTC pretty extensively. I'm going to go really quick here. This is a play I'm currently in. I've been DCAing into for quite a bit. Something I've talked about on the stream before. This is Auki, AUKI. But it's a robotics deep in play. Like I said before on the stream last week and the weeks before, they have a lot of deals in place, making lots of revenue already, and they're actually about to flip to become profitable here. What's really interesting on the technical side of things here is that we are at this really nice support level, as you can see here, that, it's just been time. I don't know why this drawing's not working here. Here we go. Yeah, like time and time again, this guy here. So obviously it's very, very disgusting drawing. I'm not really good at drawing, guys. But yeah, we're at this support level right here. We broke through down here. We broke through around here, and now we're coming right back up. What I find extremely interesting, though, is this right here. So on Ichimoku Cloud, as I've told you guys before, the Ichimoku Cloud, we have a couple of things I look for to see if we flip bullish. Primarily, we have this blue line crossing the red line. That is the conversion line crossing the baseline right here. That is usually indicative of a bullish move, followed by a breakthrough of the cloud right here. So we had this really thin red Ichimoku cloud. Once we broke through that and we flipped bullish on the conversion line crossing the baseline here, we have basically just bullish kind of shout, like the Ichimoku cloud shouting bullish things at us here. Obviously, we have this glaring issue right here, the 200-week EMA still glaring at us as a strong resistance. And you can tell the price action isn't as favorable here. We obviously are kind of forming that M-shaped pattern that you talked about with Bitcoin there, Lady Trader. So what I'm really looking for, though, on this, before I go like hog wild on it, I want to see it retest this cloud. I want to see it come down and retest, because something that's really interesting, another thing that's really interesting, is that the baseline is running flat. And so on Ichimoku Cloud, anytime the baseline is running this flat, especially on the daily chart, especially on the 4-hour chart or the or the weekly chart, it's indicative of a very strong resistance or support depending on where the price is. So price is above the baseline here, and so that's indicative of a very strong support. It's running completely flat here. So I like that we have a lot of bullish momentum building up in the forward-looking cloud as well. I'm waiting until we test this cloud to see if we come down, maybe pull back a little bit more, depending on what BTC does, especially in the coming days. But I suspect that this thing could easily rip up and just absolutely crush. I mean, I'm looking at possibly, let's see here. I mean, we might even hit previous levels of like, hang on, let me pull this up, horizontal line. Let's make this a little cleaner. I'm looking at maybe some TPs here as well as here, taking some risk off the table. But I want to see us run up there and just break through that support that we established before, turn it into a resistance back here, and retest the cloud, yada, yada. So all this to say, I'm extremely bullish on Alki. Very, very bullish on this token. I want to see some more out of it. But that's all I'm really looking at the moment. Every other deep in play I'm in just looks really bad token-wise, chart-wise. Helium's still holding up pretty well where it's at since we last talked about it. But other than that, yeah, this is the one token I'm really, really bullish on, really looking at. That's pretty much the one thing I'm looking to trade here.
Love it. Thank you, William. Anything that you want to share from the Deepin world? Any updates?
Yeah, so all in all, let me pull up something from Silencio. They had a big update today, actually. I'll pull them up. Silencio, where are you? So on our Deepin stream a couple weeks ago, we talked about these guys. They're a noise pollution measuring app that just recently pivoted into collecting voice data for AI, so robotics.
Hey,
Essentially,
William, are you sharing? Oh, here we go. Oh, never mind.
yeah,
You're there.
I got it. Yeah, I just had to pull it up. Yeah, basically, this is a company that we talked about before on the stream. Yeah, Silencia. I've been working with these guys for a while, but they're collecting training voice data, training data for AI, because LLMs and robotics they desperately need voice data to train off of. There's actually not a whole lot of really clean and varied voice data, and so they're collecting just different languages across the world, different instances, different styles of talking, et cetera, different dialects. It's pretty awesome. They actually just released this beta though that I'm really, really bullish on. This conversational recordings, and so instead of just like reading a script and talking to this like to a script and talking from the script and saying, hey, like, you know, whatever lines you have by yourself, you actually can record conversations you're having with people, like natural conversations. So you can go on like Google Meet, for instance, or like a Zoom call or something, and turn this application on and record that conversation, and then both of you can get rewarded for it. And they're actually paying out in stable coins. They're not paying out in their native token much anymore. They're taking one-to-one value from these companies and paying you in like USDC, for instance, in Circle token. And I think the going rate right now is anywhere from like $10 to $20 an hour. The catch with the token is if you do hold the token, you decide to stake the token, their SLC token, you can actually get more USDC earnings for that. I think it's like a multiplier of like 1.2 or 1.5 maybe. But the fact that you can, you know, there's like all these varied ways of recording your voice data, but, you know, solo if you want to, you can do different languages, different dialects, but now there's also conversational recordings. I think there's a ton of different ways to be earning with this protocol. And I just could not be more bullish on what these guys are doing. They said they have so much demand. They claim to have a lot of demand from a lot of different companies, that just, it continues to be ever increasing here. So all in all, very, very bullish right now. They have only these language rollouts for the conversational data. So they have Vietnamese, Indonesian, Bahasa Malay, and then I think there's only 3 for conversational, but they have pretty much every language you could think of for just the standard recordings. So if you want to do English, you want to do Japanese, Chinese, Arabic, etc., they have a lot of different ones available. So that was a major update that happened just the other day for Silencio. Helium, I think they broke more records recently. Let me just pull them up again. They just posted something recently here. Where was that chart? They just posted. Yeah, they always post it. So yeah, they had more daily active users. They're up 47% on their month-over-month network performance. So yeah, 47% on daily active users, plus 24% on hotspot growth, 39% increase on data transfer, and then 125% increase on their burns, on their H&T burns. So that's really massive for them. I'm actually going to pull up their chart here again. Let me go on their crypto chart. Where it was? I'm going to pull up their Coinbase chart. Here we go. Let me share this screen instead. Yeah, so here's their token. We talked about it before. We had this nice, massive rip up here from this terrible downtrend that we were in. Yeah, like right here. And then we obviously came right back down to the cloud there. If I can zoom out, you can kind of see where we're at. So far, so not looking so good token wise. I do like the performance of the network, though. I like that we're earning more revenue, getting more data offloaded, getting more users on there. I want to see this price hold in the cloud because, as per Ichimoku, like I said before, the cloud is very neutral, very contentious. So if we're inside the cloud, we don't really trade that. I want to wait and see if this thing breaks out on the upside of the cloud or the downside. Something to note, though, like we talked about with Alki, is that the baseline here is flat. So there is a strong support. It's very indicative of a strong support for H&T token. I want to see if we hold in the cloud here, maybe bounce out of the cloud, start running up again, and then start heading closer to that 200-week EMA there. But that's pretty much the overall DeepIn update. I could talk all day long about every other DeepIn project if we had the time, and I totally would. But I don't want to take up your show here, Lady Traders. I'm going to throw it back to you.
Thank you. No, love that. Appreciate the updates there. We have Bad Price here with us today as well. Bad Price, are you ready with your charts? Here we go, actually. I'm going to add you to the stage. Take it away.
Yeah, I missed. I showed up late, so I missed Calvin and I guess Bits, if Bits already went. But like William said, I guess y'all covered Bitcoin pretty well. Just one thing I guess I'll go over real quick is I was looking for a move down to this area, 65.5-ish or so. Talked about it the other day on Spaces. And here we are. I did see, like, I got woken up pretty late last night. Like, my alarms kind of went off. Some, price alarms I had set. And I was like, I saw price just dumping. I was like, what is going on right now? Like, it was a pretty quick move down. So, before we're kind of coming down in a more structured kind of way. And then this candle right here is when I got woken up. Yeah. I was like, what's going on? So I'm like looking across, and I guess I don't know, if y'all heard anything else, but I guess the whole we might be going to war thing brought price down real quick. Yeah. Okay,
or what? Yeah. No way.
Yeah, that's.
I've been hearing about it too. I was going to actually bring it up. So you beat me to that. Go ahead.
Well, again, I was looking, for price to kind of test this area. We got here now, and I'm looking at it. And of course, I did say I'm going to have to see what my indicators kind of look like when we get down there. Right now, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to touch it right here, right? I might not do anything until we get some kind of clarity on what's going to be going on. Like, so are we going to war? Are we not going to war? Like, what is going on here? Because, just the talk about it, brought us down pretty quick. So, I don't know, man. I think, if we go in, markets could nuke, right? So I might not just do anything until we get more clarity on that. But here we are. We're testing it. Momentum doesn't look the greatest. This is 4 hour. You can see it's putting in a lower high, on the upside wave. Let's look at the daily real quick. The dailies are looking better. And if my chart would load TradingView. Does TradingView super lag for y'all sometimes?
No, not for
Bro,
me.
all the time.
Yeah,
all the
sometimes.
time for me, especially if I'm streaming. Yeah, if I'm streaming it and my feed, it lags a ton.
Yeah, it's been super lagging for me lately. So anyway, look, bottom line is it's been pretty boring. Like we're back here towards the bottom of this range. Not too much to talk about. If we do get overextended a little bit, according to my system, I should be looking for a long around here. The daily does look a little bit better. Like it looks like we're getting more and more flushed out on the downside, right? But again, if news comes, like we can stay oversold. Like, I mean, you can see down here, right? Like this trend wave indicator, we've been in oversold territory, all of February. We can stay oversold for a while. So if any kind of news, if we do end up going to war, then yeah, we can continue to stay oversold even more for even longer. And, this thing could level down. We could break out to the downside, because I was kind of looking for a breakout this time to the upside. And my thesis really overall, though, just really hasn't changed unless, unless war kind of nukes the chart, right? But yeah, so overall, daily, 12-hour, all these time frames are starting to look a bit more flushed out. Momentum starting to print higher lows on the downside. Money flows just pretty deep down there. So yeah, according to my system, I should start kind of looking for a long. I did long from down here, got stopped out in profit, so that was good. I'm not like itching to jump in another trade or anything, right? Like I'm not itching to really put those profits back at risk. So I'm just going to chill and kind of let the setup come to me. Looking at like higher time frames, weekly, something I have pointed out in the past. This momentum wave that we're at right now is pretty deep on the downside. You got to go all the way back to 2019 before you see a deeper one, and one that is just slightly higher goes back in June of 2022. So yeah, we're just real deep on this. It doesn't mean we can't go deeper. Again, look at the one from 2018. But it is, to me, overall kind of starting to look a bit flushed. So I'm just kind of, hoping we get some kind of short squeeze here. And if we can break over the 73.5 kind of area, right? We might see a quick move up to like 80K to maybe the value area low, 84.8. But if that happens, I would be, expecting that to kind of be just a giant bull trap. And that's an area that I would definitely be looking to kind of layer in heavy on the short side, right? Other than that, if we do break back under the 65.5 area, then I would be looking back down here, kind of, a sweep of this low, maybe filling this wick right here. So I would be looking for a test back down here of like 60K. I know there's a bunch of liquidity sitting down here around 60. We talked about that on Spaces the other day as well. So yeah, right now looks like we're trying to break through that 65.5. Again, if that area doesn't hold up, then I'm going to be looking down here to see if we don't get any kind of potential bounce happening. I don't know. Like, again, I think if a war is announced, that we definitely could nuke down. Maybe in the 50s. But overall, right here, I'm not looking to really short. Like I don't like shorting on the lows. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so I would like to see a bounce. So not really looking to short. According to my system, I'm just kind of walking my dog patience, exercising patience, and looking to see if I don't see any kind of long kind of setup. If that doesn't happen, then I'm just going to do absolutely nothing. I'm completely okay with not trading.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm on the same
Yeah,
page with you.
I'm completely okay with that. Other than that, stablecoin dominance. I've talked about this. It's been calling the moves pretty perfect. There's kind of a divergence right now. Like money flow is moving higher while momentum has printed a lower high. Right. We did come to the downside of this consolidation area, this range right here. We were like kind of on the downside. We're seeing a bit of a bounce right here. So another thing I'm looking is just to see if these highs get broken, or if we just kind of come back up here, get rejected, and go back down. Right. Again, if we go to war, then I could easily see us breaking the high, and breaking the all-time highs, going back, way back here to 2022, and going into kind of price discovery on the same side, looking at total 3, same thing. Consolidation area. We're moving back towards the bottom of the range. This support's been holding up. Let's see if it continues. Maybe come back down here, test weekly support zone, maybe get a bounce. If not, back to the top of the range. But right now, like in my opinion, you can toss all the TA and everything out the window if bullets start flying. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. And, this has happened like in the past, especially it loves to happen like when I just jump in trades too, right? It's like jump in trades, everything looks good. Price is moving in my direction. Then it's like, oh yeah, we just bombed something, and charge just nuke. So yeah, this time I'm like, oh great, here we go again. Okay, so yeah, I'm completely okay with not trading and avoiding all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Might catch some scalps if it happens. Maybe some short scalps or something like that. Some quick in and outs if that happens. But yeah, I mean, really not too much to talk about right now, to tell you the truth. Like we're just still chopping on the range right now. We're going back towards the downside of it. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. Like if this 65.5 area doesn't hold up, then I'm looking kind of down here to see if we go and grab that liquidity down around 60K or so. Yeah, that's really it. Sorry I don't have more to talk about on Bitcoin, but price action lately has just kind of been a bit boring, to tell you the truth.
It's funny, like no one really wants to short this low unless you're Shane, because he got into a short. I think he might even still be in it, and he might run it if it runs actually all the way down. He did that last time. I think he caught the entire 20K move. So we'll see how this trade works out. But I want to call out a couple of things here, and I've talked about it before. I have mentioned it before. 200 EMA on weekly. This is really telling me just the way that it's acted, right? We had a previous week's high that was retested here, right? Almost. And then it basically went up above that 200 EMA, and then it's now again below 200 EMA. And I've said it like this is a classic quote by Kelvin Ryan, my mentor. And he basically, this is how I was taught, that when you see something like this, it means price is definitely going to crash here. It's just spending too much time. And it's looking like this pattern here. Where was it? Like similar to kind of like this one. It's kind of building this kind of a move here. Of course, we have an EMA, but this was, of course, to the upside, right? This was a bullish move, and it's creating a very similar pattern here. And this is what I like to do. Like whenever I'm doing my chart reading, I can kind of spot some of these patterns. So if we don't close above bullish, very quick here, this is not good news. And then, of course, if we have a war type scenario, then you got to figure out, okay, what is it going to do? Because it could be kind of like a black swan event, um, at least initially. I did see Carl also commented earlier today, and he said 70% chance of for war. And then he also said should be a short one. So love that. Net has also sent me an image. I'll definitely check it out. Thank you. But this is basically telling me it's ready to kind of crash. Like it's very clearly, rejected this one, rejected the 200 EMA, and now and remember also this range we drew like weeks ago, myself and Bits on a live stream, right? And we said that price was going to probably bounce between this range for a little bit, and that's what you're seeing. It still within the range. It's so funny, which is why like you got to draw the lines, you got to know how to draw them, and they work out fine. But I think we are getting ready to really take some liquidity, get into some good price action, scare the heck out of everybody. And if there's a war, remember, if you go back, like just research it, that war usually is good for the market. So there's initially like a big move that's, kind of like that fear move, stop hunt, and then a fast recovery. Doesn't mean it's going to create new all-time high. Absolutely not. At least according to historical data, we are going to continue to crash until October. But we are definitely, we could see a move down here and then a reversal very quickly. And so keep that in mind. Also, I think I brought it up quite a bit also during last session. This is my yearly fib levels. I'm watching them. This level is going to be important. Right now, we are pretty much stuck at this level here, a little bit above that 0.5, but I think this is coming up. So it's an area that I'm watching because it does take out the liquidity here. And whenever you have a liquidity grab event, you could potentially get a nice move to the upside. It's not going to be, it's not going to last for a very long time, right? But it could basically bounce here somewhere. Maybe we get some upside before we get more of a crash. So be on the lookout for, how price actually acts at these levels. So these are definitely levels that I'm watching. But yeah, that's really what I have for today. I see net says, yes, market likes war, initial pullback, and then a pump. Yep, it's pretty
Doesn't
much, people. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Doesn't Iran mine a bunch of Bitcoin?
Oh my gosh, I would not know for sure.
Hold on, let me look. I was just looking it up.
Know.
Hold on, it's loading. Iran
Yeah.
estimated to contribute about 2 to 5% of global Bitcoin mining hash power, make it one of the major mining hubs worldwide.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, right? Where we hear a claim, but are they actually doing that? That's a different story too. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. Anything else that anyone else has? Kelvin or Bits, William? I think we
No,
had
nothing on my end.
So beyond my actual kind of longer swing trading, I've been getting very excited about this hedge fund I've been working on. We're setting up bank accounts and getting everything finalized. But I'm running these bots that are volatility bots, and I'm planning on deploying them for this this hedge fund. And it's been very, very, very fun. Like that's been kind of consuming my brain more than the actual longer term trading. And it has been very interesting watching the amount of volatility that just naturally happens, because we've been in a very, very sideways range, and normally it's not super productive for typical trading. It's just the swings just aren't quite there, and some of this is hard to read since there's just a lot of fake outs, and we kind of were expecting this, and we talked about this weeks ago. But it's amazing how when you can program something that's just capturing every little tiny move and averaging in and averaging out and doing things kind of that you just couldn't do. Man, I can't believe some of the returns that this thing has churned out. I have a bot that I've put on. I know it's way too risky. I'm just kind of I put a small amount in. I put like $2,000 in just to like crank up the risk and just let it do its thing. And it's it has a little bit of a safety measure that as I run out of liquidity, and it trades on leverage, but as it runs out of liquidity, it places smaller trades just so that it kind of keeps it, there's kind of a range at which it'll blow up. But crazy. In 9 days, it's made 23%. And it's just, just feeding off of this volatility. So just really, really fascinating and very interesting. I've got about 10 different trading strategies that I've been running, and the best ones are just floating to the top. And man, oh man, it's incredible to watch these returns kind of flowing in when the market's really, really tough, really sideways. So the idea is to, reduce the risk, obviously, because when you get a big move, these things can blow up fast. But even if you took, if I reduce that by a tenth, like reduce the risk by a tenth, and made 22% in 100 days, that still is pretty good for institutional investing and whatnot. So anyway, it's been really fun. That's kind of been on my top of mind lately. What I've been what keeps me up at night and what I'm excited about in the trading world right now.
So it's a high frequency, like trading
high frequency bot? Yep. It does a lot of high frequency, and it also just feeds on volatility. So in cases where, and I've run it on pretty much all the I've got it running on Blowfin, and it trades everything on there. And so some little alts are just really, really volatile, like Pippin. It really made good money on Pippin. Anything that's extremely volatile within a certain range, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty fun to watch it happen. But yeah, so yesterday it traded almost 7,500 trades across all pairs, and just amazing. Anyway, it's a fun world to be in.
God, to think On The Go does that without a bot. That's...
No kidding, right?
It's because he's always on the go, bro.
Yeah, he's always on the go.
And sleep is just not even part of their system. They're like, I'll sleep for 20 minutes and then up for it was Bits of Wealth. The 20-minute nap and the 4 hours of being awake. Yeah.
Dude, I had a friend who did that, man, who actually did that for I can't even remember how long it was, though. He did it for a few months. And he obviously when he did it, he wasn't like in a position where it was going to affect, he didn't have kids, he didn't have a full-time job he was working. He was basically just kind of living life. And but yeah, he did that thing for a while, that Uberman sleep cycle, and it was wild, dude. But yeah, it was like a 20-minute nap every 4 hours. And I mean, he had it where it was a non-negotiable, otherwise it throws off your whole REM cycle. When that timer went off and it was time to go to bed, it was like it didn't matter where he was, he had to lay down and he had to take that 20-minute nap. And then he
20 minutes every 4 hours. That's why I got a buddy and it's amazing. Like he gets so much done, and he's been doing this for forever, for like 15, 20 years or something. So he's like super used to it, but he'll get 3 hours of sleep at night, right? Like, I don't know, let's say around like 11 o'clock or something, goes to bed. And then, around like 10 a.m. or something, he'll lay down for another 3 hours. And that's it. And he's been doing this forever.
Yeah, look up polyphasic.
I can't do it.
Sleep patterns. Yeah, look up polyphasic sleep patterns, Uberman sleep cycle, all that type of stuff. It's what's wild is they say that once you, I guess it's kind of like fasting. You do fasting, you eventually get to a point where your body gets fat adapted, right? And you go into ketosis a little bit easier, and you can produce ketones, and you feel good, and you don't feel like crap. That this sleep stuff is the same way. You deprive yourself enough that when you take that 20-minute nap, I mean, it's like a switch. You just go straight into like the deepest, most restful and regenerative part of like sleep. And so you actually legit wake up rested, like super, super rested. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Must be that must be how Donald Trump does it. So he'll like sleep through the first portion of a war debrief for about 20 minutes, you know, and then he's good for another 4 hours.
Man, we need
So
some-
eventually it
we
would
need
drive
emojis.
you crazy, is what I heard.
Anyway, definitely what's happening for sure.
All right. Well, there was one thing that I think I missed. I don't think I actually mentioned that during our call, but this was Nat calling us vampires, those of us who are using the dark charts. Just had to throw it out there before we end. I don't think I brought it up. I'm fasting today, by the way, so maybe forgetting things. But yeah, this was incredible, by the way, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And we will be back again next week, of course. Bits and I will be doing our live stream during the week. And then, of course, we will also be having our FOMO Friday next week as well. And then Bits of Wealth will be doing his live streams pretty much every single day. So hopefully you guys are able to catch some trades. Let's see how this weekend plays out. I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful rest of the day and weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See
Thank
ya.
you.
Thank you.